Hello friends, welcome to week 2, day 4, I think. In today's video or practice session, I should say, I am going to be practicing the drills from earlier this week, but I'm going to do them freehand in this notebook. I thought I would kind of use this as just like my practice notebook, and this is just a dot grid journal. This is from last week, and so here are the pages that I did in the earlier videos. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do these same strokes, but in a little bit smaller of a version. I'm going to set this here so I make sure I don't miss any. I have my handy, I always want to say Pentel, but these are Rytec Sign Brush pens. I really like these brush pens, and they come in really pretty colors. I don't necessarily like them more than the Pentel Touch. I just like the colors. They have, I think the one that I like is the vintage colors, and they're just so pretty. So I'm going to use those here, and I'm going to attempt to do these practice drills in the same style as they are in this worksheet, where they're kind of upright. It is kind of my tendency to want to slant things lately, but I'm going to go ahead and try. For these ones, I went just a little bit larger than 1 square, so like 1.5 squares. And I'll probably do that again. That was kind of a good size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I do 1 row of each of those, I have 8. So I actually think that'll be okay. Maybe I'll do half and half. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, whether you are using the practice worksheets or you are doing this freehand, that's totally up to you. I have done them both, of course, because I used the worksheets earlier in the videos earlier this week. And so this is just totally a personal preference. I tend to like using worksheets, and I don't know why, because I make the worksheets, so it's not like I need them to practice. But I just find tracing to just be kind of relaxing. You can kind of just focus on the motions that you're making versus like where the pen needs to go next. So I don't know. Chances are I'm going to make a worksheet here and there because I just really enjoy practicing with them myself. And even sometimes for finished quotes or projects and things like that, I like sketching it up on the iPad first. That way, by the time I get to do it on paper, I've kind of figured out my spacing and I know where I want to go with my brush pen. So I keep having to turn my camera off because I'm going to attempt to do these videos without a ton of editing. I kind of mentioned that I want them to be just more like casual, like sitting down together and practicing for 10 minutes. But I don't know if I have allergies or something. I have the sniffles. And so if you see that my camera keeps turning off, that is why. I will try to keep this casual and low key, but I'm not going to try to make you listen to me sniffling. So yeah, anyway, that's why. But as far as practice goes, let me know how it's going for you and what types of things you enjoy practicing, because I would love to hear what types of things you want to practice in the future or what would be helpful for you to see. I definitely wanted to lay a good foundation so that if you are new, or if you, maybe not even new, if you just haven't jumped into hand lettering for a while, that we can kind of ease our way into it. I think that practicing these types of things like drills and the one that we did last week was just kind of different shapes. It wasn't even like these basic strokes. I just think it's really good for us to learn how to use our brush pen and brush pen control. But if you are doing these types of drills freehand, you can also change it up once you feel more comfortable with them. Like for example, you could start out with this really narrow and then just get a little bit wider every single time. And that's just going to help practice that control over your brush pen, and just another way to make it a little bit, I guess, a little bit extra work. But that's a good thing, right? But the goal here is just to practice. It's not with a strong outcome in mind. It's just to sit down and give ourselves 10 minutes a day or less of practice time. Now, I learned some things with last week's videos because when I was editing them, I didn't realize that I had gone over 10 minutes in multiple of them. And so I do want to try to just jump right in. It feels weird not like posting an intro to some of these videos, but hopefully if you're watching every day, that will, make sense. Or not necessarily every day, but if you're watching somewhat frequently, you'll kind of understand. Because I do want to try to limit myself to keeping these videos under 10 minutes. Not necessarily just to be like a rule follower about it, but I just feel like when it comes to practice, I know that we don't have a ton of time all the time. And so I want it to be really doable for you where you don't have to have like a really big commitment. It's just 10 minutes or less. Keep a brush pen and a notebook nearby, and you don't have to go gather a ton of supplies each time. I just want it to be easy for you, and then I also want it to be doable for me. So if every time I could go longer, I do, and I will probably always have something else that I think of that I could do. That's just kind of how it goes. There's always something I wish I could do better, or like, oh, I messed up there. Maybe I should go back and refilm that. And that is my temptation. And so I want to make sure that I'm not doing that because I want this to be something that is sustainable. And so that is my goal here. I will say that since I stopped the camera, I have lost count. I can see that I'm at 4 minutes right now, but I think I had some footage before I started sniffling. So watch this be the one video this week that goes over 10 minutes. But I am just going to finish up these drills. It's just surprising how fast 10 minutes actually goes. I often think I can get a lot more done in 10 minutes than I really can. And so that is just retraining myself. If you are like that too, it's just retraining ourselves that, hey, even if we can't get it all done, we're still just going to do the 10 minutes. And, maybe later on in the day, I might sit down and like have something else to do, but that's just going to be for like joy's sake. It's not going to be out of discipline or because I think I need to accomplish something. It's just because I want to. But as far as this practice goes, I'm really trying to limit myself to 10 minutes because if you think about it, 10 minutes a day, even only 5 days a week, that's almost an hour every week. And that adds up. So even though we might not be able to finish a super long project each video, if we stay consistent with it, I just really think that's going to be more beneficial than trying to sit down and do a 2-hour-long project every month. When you haven't practiced, you haven't warmed up, every time you kind of start something new, it takes a little while to get into the routine and the rhythm. So I guess my point is that while this video may actually be longer than 10 minutes, I can't tell, for the most part, I'm really going to try to keep it under 10 minutes. What do you guys want me to do? Should I edit this part out if I did go over 10 minutes? My camera says I'm at 5:50 right now. But I don't know how long I had it going before. Anyway, do you guys think 10 minutes flies by? I really do. It's always surprising to me how little I got done in 10 minutes. But I mean, not really, because look at this page. This is a lot of different strokes here. It's just because I'm using a small brush pen. It takes longer because I'm having to create more to fill up the page. And so it's really not nothing. It is a lot accomplished, right? We need to look back and see that even though I might have not finished all of these drills in 10 minutes, this is a lot, even though it's just half a page. It feels like not a lot though when I look at this page. It feels like I should have got the whole thing done, but that's not the point. The point is, like I said, just 10 minutes of practice. So I hope that you enjoyed this 10 or so minutes, and I hope that you feel accomplished, even if it doesn't seem like you accomplished as much as you might have thought you would do in 10 minutes. I really think little by little, it's going to make a really big difference. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Just a quick reminder, I did send a worksheet, a printable worksheet earlier with a quote on it, and that's what I'm going to be using for tomorrow's video. So grab that if you have not already, if you want to use it, or just come with a quote or word that you have wanted to do, and we will work on that together tomorrow. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.